She was the wild one, the girl with blood around her neck, knives in her drawer, and fire in her eyes. Tabloids called her dangerous, Hollywood called her brilliant, but what no one saw was a broken child searching for safety. A mother risking everything, a warrior who walked away from fame to fight for the lives the world ignored. This is not the story you think you know. This is the story they never told you about Angelina Jolie. This is Seen Unseen. She was born into the spotlight, daughter of Hollywood actor Jon Voight and actress Marcelline Bertrand. But fame didn't mean family. Her father left when she was just a baby. Her mother, once a rising star, abandoned her own career to raise Angelina and her brother in a modest Los Angeles apartment. Angelina would later say, "There were days where we had to borrow money just to survive." She felt invisible, too intense, too emotional. At school, she was bullied for being skinny, for wearing braces, and for being different. At age 14, she fell into depression and started self-harming. Few know this, but her mother allowed her boyfriend to move in with her at that age, not out of recklessness, but out of love. She believed that would protect Angelina from being unloved. That wasn't chaos, that was survival. And then Angelina found an outlet, acting. But she wasn't pretending to act, she bled truth into every role. Her early performances were electric, too raw, too real.
It's good to be home.
Get it to her room. Fred will do the strip search.
Who are you? Why is all your on her bed? Huh? Huh? Why? Why? Where's Jamie? You don't have money. How'd she do it? How'd she do it? How did she do it, Valerie? You weak people. You're all weak. Greta? What? No, Val, please, please. No! Get off! No! Stop!
But winning an Oscar at the age of 24 didn't bring peace. The blood vial around her neck, that was a tribute to love, not violence. Her tattoos were her declarations of identity. When she kissed her brother at the Oscar event, that became a controversy. But she was an overwhelmed girl clinging to the only one person who would never abandon her. But the headlines didn't ask why, they just wrote weird. What they missed was a woman's desperate attempt to feel something real. After filming Lara Croft Tomb Raider in Cambodia, something inside her shifted. Surrounded by landmines, poverty, and displaced families, Jolie saw a kind of suffering that dwarfed her own, and for the first time, she saw a way out of her pain. She became a UNHCR Goodwill Ambassador, trained with humanitarian workers, and visited war zones. Here is what most people don't know. She paid for all her trips herself. She even flew commercial to refugee camps. No entourage, no press. In 2002, she adopted Maddox from Cambodia. And that changed everything. Angelina wasn't escaping from herself anymore. She was becoming someone else completely. Over the years, she adopted Zahara from Ethiopia, then Pax from Vietnam, and later had 3 biological children with Brad Pitt. But behind the scenes, she was making silent sacrifices. In 2013, Jolie wrote in a New York Times op-ed she had tested positive for BRCA1 gene, a mutation that gave her 87% risk of breast cancer. And her decision was a preventive double mastectomy. She shared it publicly, not for sympathy, but to start a global conversation about women's health. What most people never realized is her mother died of cancer at just 56. She once wrote, "I chose not to keep my story private because there are many women who do not know that they might be living under the shadow of cancer."
Jolie announcing last month that she had decided to have a double mastectomy after learning she inherited a rare cancer gene that puts her at high risk for breast cancer. Both her mother and her aunt died of cancer.
I'm very happy just to see the discussion about women's health expanded, and that means the world to me. And after losing my mom to these issues, I'm very grateful for it, and I've been very moved by the kind of support from people. really very grateful for it.
On the outside, they were Hollywood royalty, Angelina and Brad, but behind the facade was a fractured family. In 2016, she filed for divorce, citing the health of the family. She never spoke ill of Brad Pitt publicly, even when the tabloids did. She quietly entered into a custody battle and fought for her children's safety. She never went on talk shows, never sold her side. Because she wasn't chasing attention, she was protecting 6 lives. In private, she cried. In public, she stood tall. And even in the courtrooms, she brought no knives, only resolve. Today, she directs more than she acts. She continues her humanitarian work, having visited over 30 countries and launched foundations for education, justice, and refugee aid. But she rarely takes the spotlight. Angelina once said, "I have been everything, a punk, a mother, a warrior, an ambassador. Now I just want to be useful."
Nothing would mean anything if I didn't live a life of use to others. We are all, everyone in this room, so fortunate. I have never understood why some people are lucky enough to be born with the chance that I had to have this path in life, and why across the world there's a woman just like me with the same abilities and the same desires, same work ethic and love for her family, who would most likely make better films and better speeches. Only she sits in a refugee camp, and she has no voice. She worries about what her children will eat, how to keep them safe, and if they'll ever be allowed to return home. I don't know why this is my life, and that's hers. I don't understand that, but I will do as my mother asked, and I will do the best I can with this life to be of use. And to stand here today means that I did as she asked, and if she were alive, she'd be very proud. So thank you.
Her children say she is still silly at home, still fierce, still the woman who chose compassion over chaos. The world saw the headlines, the blood, the tattoo, the men, and the madness. But they missed the real story of a woman who refused to be defined by pain, of a girl who survived abandonment and became mother to millions, of a Hollywood star who walked away from fame to fight in the forgotten corners of the world. It was not a meltdown, it was metamorphosis. This was Angelina Jolie, seen unseen, the parts of the story we never got to see.
This ain't a song for the broken hearted. A silent prayer for faith departed. I ain't gonna be just a face in the crowd. You're gonna hear my voice when I shout it out loud. It's my life, it's now or never. I ain't gonna live forever. I just wanna live when I'm alive. It's my life. It's my life.
If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe the channel for more videos. And I will see you in the next episode.